So in today's web dev tip, we're going to take a look at the battery API, which is pretty much not supported by any other browser other than Chrome, and I can't think of a good reason why you'd want to use this, but what it does is enable you to find out information about the user's battery, assuming they're using a laptop when they're browsing your page. So let's run through it. As you can see, it's not very well supported other than Chrome and Edge, but just in case you do want to use it, I'll show you how you can do that. So on the window object, there is the navigator object, which has a function called getBattery, which actually returns a promise. So if we just log out the details that come back from that, it actually returns us this battery manager object, which has got several bits of information. So we've got the charging information, so whether the user's plugged in, and whether or not their battery level is at 100%. So it's given us as a fraction of 1. So I'm currently at 92%. So I guess that's useful if you need to know that information, but you can also set up events when things change. So when the user isn't plugged in anymore, or when their charging level changes. So let's just set up a bit of JavaScript on our page to do that. So the first thing is, let's just on the window object, access the navigator object. And then they've got that get battery function, which returns our promise. So that gives us this battery manager object, which we can then access inside of a function. And then from that battery manager object, we can actually set up event listeners as well. So there are a few different ones. So same as you would for any other element on a page. So we've got charging change. So if the user isn't plugged in anymore, or if they do plug in if they weren't previously. And the other one we've got, which is maybe useful to you, battery manager add event listener and level change. So that would be when the level of the battery also changes. So what we could do with this level change is we could actually work out when the user's battery level has changed and update an element on our page. So you can see here we've got this div at the moment, and it's just got hard-coded 100% in there at the moment. But let's use the information from the battery API to actually update that value on the page. So let's just create a quick function inside of here. So update level. And from that, we'll just get the element on the page, get element by ID, which was called charging, and just set its text content equal to, and on the battery manager, as you can see in the console here, we've got the property of level, and we'll probably want to actually multiply that by 100 to get it into a percentage, and then just put the percent sign after that for the text content. And so when the level changes, when this event is fired, we can just call that function the update level function. And let's just call it when we've got the information from the battery API to start off with, just so that we display the correct level on the page. So you can see now my battery level has been displayed on the page, and if we were to wait a while, the event would fire and the div element would update with the new value as the charge goes up. So maybe you can think of a good use case for this, but I'm not too sure. You can only really use it in Chrome and Edge, but it certainly is interesting and it's something to play around with if you're making some experimental type apps. So that's pretty much it for the battery API. Stay tuned for more web dev tips.